Hi, I'm Symphoneers, and today we're taking a look at Izzet 1-drops, a list that I threw together real quick, but it's been doing okay in its initial run, 8-3, so 73% across 11 games, so I thought it'd be a fun little thing to do a video on. A lot of the deck is relatively standard kind of burn or prowess, in that we have swiftspear, monstrous rage, play with fire, otter as well to just grow whenever we cast spells, full playset of consider and sleight of hand as well, and yeah, we just want to cast a bunch of things that draw us cards and have those attack in all big and, you know, kill the opponent dead. Whoops. A lot of it's pretty standard on that front. To hit a kind of like corner case or an optimization thing, some people were curious why I didn't put green mana in the last deck I made with Elusive Otter. You can do that. The best lands for it are the pain lands, which are really bad versus mono red, and especially in pip-dense decks, the pain lands can be rough. Like, these will occasionally just automatically lose you the game versus mono red in particular. So I really didn't want to go up in pain lands, and there's maybe a way to do the fast land splash, like using different lands that's okay-ish, but for kind of like fringe corner case optimizations like that, I tend to skew towards like, no, just keep it, you know, simple, reliable, save people wild cards, etc. And if anyone really takes and runs with this list, you know, you can tinker with that. Moving on from the Otter, we have a full playset of Sleep-Cursed Fairies. I think a lot of people look at Sleep-Cursed Fairy outside of Fairies and just go, it's too slow, what's happening here? Hey, yo, Sleep-Cursed Fairy I would view as something similar to Evolved Sleeper. You don't get to use it right away, but it does automatically or eventually untap and, you know, upgrade itself if you don't spend mana. So that's nice. One good thing is that we can occasionally, or it might occasionally make sense to just dump some mana into it, like if we flood with this deck, which can happen in weird ways or like in weird places. Just having a mana sink on the field can actually be alright. And the ward too on Sleep-Cursed Fairy also makes it actually a pretty good carrier for buffs, targeted buffs like Ancestral Anger and Monstrous Rage. Like if your opponent has 2 mana up and you have a fairy down and something else, you should almost always target the fairy because they can't target it with anything. Whereas they can maybe, you know, go for the throat your swiftspear or whatever. So in short, it's a way for us to play a kind of mana efficient upgrade threat, although it's its own unique thing, and it's a good kind of buff carrier. So yep, you love to see it. Aside from that, the other kind of weird or less frequent include is Embereth Veteran. I just tossed this in the deck because I wanted to see how it worked, basically. I've been reasonably happy with it. In particular, I do like that it does give the deck a little bit of additional kind of instant speed play. Just if they go to kill it with a cut down or something, you can toss it on. A Sleep-Cursed Fairy, not the best carrier for it in the deck, the Young Hero buff, but it will go up to a 4/4 with the Young Hero roll token on it, or you can just toss it on something else to attack with a 1/1 Otter, get the Young Hero proc, then cast, you know, instant speed stuff to get it pumped up more. It just gives the deck a little bit of extra play, a little bit of extra texture, and kind of bare minimum, it's a pretty good blocker. It can block underdogs or opposing Kamanos or whatever. It's a very solid kind of workhorse card in red. I've been pleased with it in this deck anyway. Moving on to the mana, we are running 20 lands, which is actually quite land heavy for a list like this. That's part of why I like having the Sleep-Cursed Fairy and the Embereth Veteran in the list, is the abilities give you an additional mana sink that lets you play more lands and not feel stupid for doing that, or like you have stuff to do, and that means that you don't have to run 16 lands and like mulligan 1 land hands really aggressively, which can be kind of annoying and frustrating. So yeah, we go a little bit higher with the land count. The other reason we do that is Restless Spire. I wasn't sure how much I would like Restless Spire. I've mostly put in time with the Bivouac, the Boros creature land. Restless Spire has a few things that I really like about it in this list in particular. One, the activation cost is just 2 mana, which is great. It means that if we hit like the kind of end game state of this list where we have 3 or 4 lands down and we're kind of empty-handed, or maybe we have like 1 or 2 plays in hand, we can activate the Restless Spire, hold up a Monstrous Rage or something, attack, and then, you know, use the Monstrous Rage on whatever. Also, the Restless Spire has just 2/1 first strike. Great, first strike means it punches through an underdog and stuff like that's Thalia stats. That's surprisingly relevant for such a cheap activation. The other thing I like about it in this deck is the Scry 1. This is a list that can have really explosive, powerful turns if it gets a little bit lucky, like if you just consider into a sleight of hand, into play with fire or whatever, or a monstrous rage with a prowess threat or two down, you can hit people for so much. And just getting a scry off of a creature land attack can help set up those turns and help just ensure that you're actually drawing, you know, proper magic cards and not just your fourth mountain of the game. So yeah, I've been surprisingly pleased with the Restless Spire. Rest of it is just standard dual lands, channel lands as well, and yeah, that more or less covers the deck. If you like the deck tech, like the video, you know, click all the buttons, subscribe, etc. Helps the channel a lot. If you want to go the extra mile, you can always become a YouTube member, support on Patreon, subscribe on Twitch. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to give me money. If you wanted to pick one, that would be lovely. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's get on to some actual gameplay. Weird hand. I think I like it though. Lot of red mana to work with. Okay. I was considering doing the Storm-Carved Coast on 1 just because if we draw blue spells that can make our sequencing a little bit nicer. But given that we draw Sekensin, that makes just doing this very kind of simple and easy. I'm going to do... Am I going to do this? This does seem like... Yeah, I thought they were holding up something for a second, despite no hitches in the client. Or I was respecting that they might be holding up something. Anyway, Glissa. Okay, so this is awkward. We can pop off some stuff. That is not super helpful. I will take a passive turn, I think, or maybe even just Ancestral Anger to get stuff in hand. Sleight of Hand is awkward given our 1 blue source. This is why we play all of the duels, all of the good duels that we can. Even though some of them are not, like, the slow lands, pretty rough for this deck. Pain lands and etc. can also be awkward. I'm gonna shoot the face. I'll take a Monstrous Rage. That is relevant to my interests. So we can untap here. We can also opt to lose something. This is a genuinely interesting board state given our mana restrictions. If we had better mana, I think Glissa is the main kick in the teeth here. Yeah, I was debating trampling through the tortoise or like trying to push, what would that be, 5 damage or whatever? Or sorry, not 5 damage, but yeah, just doing that. How do we feel about this? No Shieldred, which is something. This is a weird one, this is a weird one. This is where the Embereth the Veteran play pattern is actually kind of cool and good, maybe? Yeah. We will Sleight of Hand here. Awkward. So next, move to combat. Young Hero puts a counter on the Sleep-Cursed Fairy, then the Young Hero is effectively a dead roll token and doesn't do anything for us. So we go honk honk. Yeah, Glissa on blocks here. Real awkward. Virtue Persistence, sure. They're not out of the woods yet, although now we're vulnerable to a Shieldred's Verdict, which is not great. That's one of the main weaknesses, or like main ways opponents have of bypassing the ward in this standard. Opponent going honk honk. Very respectful attacks, or like safe-ish. Yahoo, okay. Shrinking the sleep-cursed faerie, huh. Interesting? I am... Ooh, huh. So land drop, sorcery speed spell. Okay. Consider, try to get other things to work with here. Don't need another land. Hotel. I will go honk honk. I will go honk honk and I will play out the otter. Otter insulates against verdict, which we somewhat care about. Otter can also bypass all of their blockers. Like we had the one thing that was an issue there for us. Is this Rutstein, Shieldred? Okay, they whiffed, kind of. Sleep Cursed Fairies bad on defense. Bad breach hit for them. Oh, are they just dead to the fairy, like, because they did this? Yeah, they... Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think they can kill us here. Like, they can deal 10. Tortoise stuff happens. They have the Tier Next Rex as a breach hit that we missed by a handful of cards. So yeah, being vaguely safer, just double counting 10, they can draw a card, they'll gain a life off of that, but this is fine. Sorry, in situations, I get that surrender in situations like that, I just like to slow down and make sure I'm not punting. But the opponent is just like, no, they don't have anything, they're dead to the fairy, which I'm pleased about. Yeah, our Sleep-Cursed Fairy just absolutely shining that game in terms of being able to bypass this stuff and get the damage in there. Anyway, good games to the opponent. I like this hand, I think. We are going to have to hit ourselves with the Pain Land at least twice on the draw versus Mono Red. Okay, cool. This might be a great example of why I don't do the green splash this game, with the Pain Lands that I was talking about in the deck tech, because, yeah. Current Pain Land self-damage count is 1. I do think it's, like, correct to run the on-color Pain Lands just for mana consistency. We are actually 3-1 versus Mono Red currently. Although I suspect that's about to change, based on how this game is already shaping up. Sorry, we only have the Sleep-Cursed Fairy, huh? Okay. Not my favorite. 2 damage to self. Oh. This is where the Sleep-Cursed Fairy being sleepy is a little awkward. I will play with Fire the Epic here. It's not my favorite move here, because they're clearly just going to, I don't know, Blazing Cacophony or Monstrous Rage the Swiftspear, or that's what I assume the play is, and this is relatively low impact. We are just strictly trying to reduce the amount of damage we're taking. But yeah, this is... Lightning Strike to the face. Swiftspear. We're almost certainly dead, and I shouldn't spend too much time thinking about this. Yeah, opponent's at 19. Yes, we're dead on board, because, I guess not, yes, dead on board. Because Painland. If we do this to get the Swiftspear's toughness up, yeah, that happens. If we don't do that, we only have 2 points of toughness left after the end of the festivities to throw under the 3/4 swiftspear. So yes, we lose that game. Great example of how bad pain lands are. Anything else here? Yeah, the Sleep Cursed Fairy catching the Kamano counter. I really wish we had something else to catch, just for like the sake of staying alive in that matchup. This can be an okay play pattern versus black decks or like control decks, but yeah, here we're just, especially with the tap land, just too slow. Little bit Creature Light is the main strike against it, but I do like this hand. Just Swift Spear on 1 into stuff on turn 2. Skull Dweller, okay. Yeah, we will shoot the thing with the Death Touch. I am surprised we're getting someone on Toxic? Question mark. I feel like it fell off a lot, and rightfully so, because I think that deck is not good. I don't know if we... weird hand, or like weird mana. Yeah. Definitely seems like Toxic. There's Virtue, a little bit awkward. I guess we'll get a Veteran down, because our hand is currently awkward in terms of threat sequencing. This is definitely why we run so many duels. Hive, sure. Another Skull Dweller. Okay. Kill the thing with Death Touch again. Bonk. Good news is our opponent is hitting themselves with the Skrelv's Hive, so that's something. 2 Skrelv's Hives. Ooh, so we have a turn or two to try to do good damage. Which might be awkward if we keep only drawing red cards or blue sources. Go down to 10. Or no, it'll take 2 turns for the lifelink to come online. Without... I guess if they double Prolif, I think we should just be fine. Despite our really awkward mana. Skrelv's, oh, consider thank you. Just, like, literally anything we can cast with blue. We do this at sorcery speed here in case we hit Sleight of Hand. Sure, I'm just so happy we hit a blue card. Take the opponent to 4. Skrelv's Hive, ding ding. Yeah, they go down to 2. I guess the only thing we're really afraid of here is a board wipe. Grafted Butcher is fine. That's a cute include. I think it's effectively incorrect, given that it looks like the main vector they're trying to kill us through is poison. Like, the pushing combat damage doesn't really matter for them. Okay, so, this doesn't matter because they're dead on upkeep, but I was just like, did I punt? No, these can't block. Thankfully, it is only the mites that, yep, sure. Our opponent just being nice and letting us hit them. Bing, bang, bong. They go to -7. Good games to that opponent. Yeah, sometimes, or that happens a surprising amount with this deck, is that you will have some bad situation as far as mana or whatever, or like some awkward sequencing thing going on, but the opponent will just like not quite be fast enough anyway, or stumble or whatever, and you just get there, and yeah. That is how the deck works. Anyway, good games to the opponent. Big gamble hand. If we draw a land, this hand is great. If we don't draw a land, it's maybe workable. It might mean that we have to consider to hit our land drops. Okay, sleight of hand, because your sorcery speed. Oh no. Hit, no, we're extremely dead. I shouldn't have kept that hand. Move on. This hand has 3 lands, which is land heavy-ish, and no creatures. If the blue sources were untapped, I would maybe be tempted to keep this. I guess we are in the play. Oh, I'm talking myself into it. No, I'm gonna mulligan. Yeah, this hand is better. This hand is so much better. The mulligan was correct. What do we put back, though? Just a sleight or something? It's either the sleight or the play with fire. I'm tempted to say the play with fire. Just because the sleight is card selection. Our mono red matchup is weird anyway. I'd rather try to opt into the thing that's like more card advantage, more ability to push damage, than just the thing that like lets us take a pot shot and then get run over by Godric. We do the Restless Fire first there, by the way, just because we want to be able to play out a blue card every turn on every subsequent turn. So it's like Otter and Swiftspear there, then it's going to be Otter and Anger next turn. So we're continually adding threats to the board. Oh, Gruel, fun. Just, yeah, ensuring that we can actually cast stuff effectively, even though we do miss a little bit of Swiftspear haste damage. Yeah, counter on the Phoenix check. We will do Ancestral Anger on the Swiftspear, draw a card. Love to draw a bunch of Ancestral Angers. That is, yep, the card shines when that happens, so, you know. Feeling good. Only the Kamano can block, which is nice. We're maybe most concerned about some removal. Felden can't block! That was a weird, like, almost voice crack. It's late, and my voice is surprisingly worn out. Anyway. Opponent go vroom vroom, monstrous rage, yes, yes. No blocks, what are we taking here? 9? 2 cards in hand, ooh, okay. I'm not even going to bother doing math yet. Sleep Cursed Faerie, okay, sorry, I should do math. 8, oh, we just killed them, huh? Yep. Oh, we kill them real good. Oh, I love it when this happens. Just, oh. They grow up so fast into 9/5s and 4/4s. Yeah, great. That's the main way we tend to win versus like mono red type decks. They were in Gruel, but we didn't see any green cards. But yeah, we can just kind of cheese them or like race them sometimes with, you know, our monstrous rages or like early prowess threats. Yeah, yay. Happy to get one of those games on the video. This is probably going to be a shorter video just by virtue of the game times. They're pretty quick, and, but yeah, I'm just gonna end it there to keep my workload light, basically. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Once again, if you like the video, click all the buttons, give me money, whatever, thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, bye-bye. Thank you for watching the video, and an extra big thank you to the Patreon patrons and YouTube members that help make these videos possible. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.